And I actually have a cool hat on today. We haven't seen each other in a while because we haven't done a show in a while, but you kind of look like an off-season Santa Claus in a hat. Hello, and welcome to Updog Sports Talk. My name is Matt Miller, and I actually have a cool hat on today. Joining me today is Justin McGovern. What's going on, McGovernator?
Hey, excited for the show. Excited to talk about the new College Football 25 video game.
Yeah, so we're going to go over quite a bit of the game and of the last game, and we'll give you our thoughts on both. Justin, care to run down on the specifics of the new game? Let's get excited!
All right. Well, for the new game, it's the environments of this game are just unreal. Like, you almost get goosebumps watching the trailer because of just how much detail they went into for every team. Like, even like the waterfalls at Arkansas State and stuff like that are in the game. Now, obviously, when they released a trailer, Texas State found out a deck was missing. Surely they'll resolve that before the actual game comes out. But I mean, like, we play this game just on silent and stuff, and just play music in the background or something. That's not going to be the case anymore when we play this game. We are going to be having the volume as loud as we can.
No, I'm going to have mine at normal volume that I can hear things still going on. I got kids, man. My ears just can't take
well, that's why I'm also saying as loud as we can. Obviously, if you have children in the house, do not blast.
Not even just in the house. I'm just used to, at this point, just like loud pisses me off. Like, maybe I'm just old now. Maybe that's what 30s are.
You are old now. But yeah. So I'm really excited for that. Really excited just to like feel like you're actually in the environment. Pop is making an appearance. And then Dynasty mode sounds like it's gonna be pretty good. I mean, it doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of changes compared to the Dynasty mode a decade ago. You can still set up your non-conference schedule. Conference schedules are locked. You're gonna have to import team builder teams, but
recruiting is going to be a little different.
Recruiting is going to be a little bit different. And let's get to that in a second. But yeah, like customizable conferences are going to be there. I think you had like different restrictions before, like it was between like 4 and like 16 teams, I think. But now like they had to give you up to 20 because of how ridiculously big the Big Ten is. And then also down to 2 because the Pac-2 exists. And you're going to be able to do whatever. We'll actually get into what we want to do for our conference alignments later in the show. But yeah, like you said, recruiting is going to be I feel like they've really hit the balance of making recruiting realistic, making it deep, making you feel invested in it, not making it like too long where you get tired partway through and just want to hit the transfer portal like Deion Sanders or something.
So I gotta interrupt you. We haven't seen each other in a while because we haven't done a show in a while, but you kind of look like an off-season Santa Claus in a hat. It's it's pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah, I need to give the beard
nice thick beard, good flow going.
I need to give it a trim though, because it's getting hot now. Like it's kind of rough taking the dog for a walk
grow that thing down, bro. That's what I'm gonna do.
No, not during the summer. Maybe next winter.
Oh well. Back to recruiting.
Yeah. So, and obviously like I mentioned, the transfer portals in the game. They did NIL, but in an easier way to do it, where it's basically like a grade you can get, or you help players with their branding. I think it's called like brand awareness or something like that. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think recruiting is going to be a lot of fun to do. Yeah, it'll be interesting. You'll have to balance your time between transfer portal and regular recruiting in the off season. So, how does that look? I think we'll kind of talk about that a little bit later on.
Yeah, and the old game, it was like if you had a bunch of 80 overalls all over the place, 80 and up, and you had a 78 freshman, you redshirted him, he would most likely transfer. Um, and that usually pissed me off, but I kind of understood because more than likely you probably weren't going to play for a couple years. So I get it. You're going to a place that will probably appreciate you a little bit earlier on. But this new game probably going to piss a lot of people off with transfer portal and all that. So it's going to be interesting.
I
I,
know,
I
and I'm excited to see just how many players enter the portal each year.
is there like a toggle for like transfer portal, like low, medium, high, extreme?
From what I've read, I have not seen anything about that, but I'd be very curious to see, like, if you could turn it to like, okay, I want as many people to go. But I don't know, that'd be kind of hard to implement in the first game too. So it makes sense if it wasn't.
It would be really cool to have like extreme or mayhem mode where like you could be the top team in the country and all of a sudden your best player decides, you know what? I'm going to go to the team that did nothing and then transfer back to you after one season.
Everyone's just transferring everywhere. I did see that if you recruited a player out of high school and they hit the transfer portal, like they don't choose you, but then they hit the transfer portal the next year, they'll have a preference toward you because of that relationship you already built, which I think is a neat part of the game.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. What about like players that transfer out? Are you just automatically off their list or do they have it where like, oh yeah, you can go back?
It's kind of a it's similar to like what the transfer was before. Like you get that chance to convince them to not transfer before you hit actual recruiting. So yeah, you could just get that window. You're like, please don't transfer, and they'll be like either yes or no.
I I can imagine it'll probably have like a easy or hard setting. I
Yeah.
feel like that would be like uh, maybe it's just me being too hopeful for EA because EA has let me down over the years. They botched this in the entire Star Wars video game franchise. But I had to get that out. I don't really know where I was going with all that. I just had to bash EA for that. But a lot of exciting things. Like I played Madden 24 and like it's kind of generic. It sounds like college football 25 is going to be absolutely electric.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to play. The other thing we need to mention is the more realistic injury feature that they're going to have, where depending on what hits your players take, and how much you run them and stuff, like they're going to get injured in very realistic fashion. Which I'm very interested to see how that's going to go. Especially both of us tend to be very abusive towards our quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Um,
like Martin Vandenboom from UTSA running the QB wrap untouched almost every single play.
Well, at least he went untouched. If he got tackled, watch out. Oh my! We had a game where that guy ran. He ran for over 500 yards in a game.
And it didn't break the record. What's
Well,
funny?
okay. The,
What's
the
funny
record
about
was
that?
a glitch.
The record was a glitch, but it was a funny glitch. We sacked Virginia Tech's quarterback for like, I don't know, 10-yard loss or something like that. And it gave him 1,013 yards rushing.
And yeah, that was it. He set the in-game record because no one's ever to rush for 1,000 yards in the game.
Not unless you
That
play it on easy and then turn all the AI stuff down.
that whole dynasty, that quarterback had that record because of that glitch. It was
Yeah,
hilarious.
it pissed me off because we had some really good running backs in that dynasty.
Yeah, we had some great running backs. We had some great quarterbacks. Um, but yeah, we're going to do an ode to NCAA 14 here in a second. Um, but yeah, back to the new game. I mean, it's going to be very interesting. I'm probably going to have many seasons where I end up playing a wide receiver or quarterback because I've gone through all my quarterbacks on the roster and all of them got hurt. So I'm very interested to see how that goes.
That would
Um,
be awesome.
but yeah, that was a good prelude there. Time for our official ode to our NCAA 14 memories. Matt, what's one of your favorites?
Um, I think my all-time favorite was we had this guy named Steven Henderson, and he was our Marshall quarterback. We ran 5 wide receivers stick every single play. And we would have a lot of rushing yards, but it was only from our quarterback. And we played on Xbox, so the inside wide receiver would get most of the catches. X would be open, B would be open. We really didn't throw it short just because it's a video game. But one game, so he was an athlete when we recruited him. One game, we decided, or we were looking through our depth chart because a couple of guys weren't catching balls, and we are like, our quarterback is rated really well at receiver. So what we did was we put him at the Y receiver.
No, we put him in A, and we actually changed it up a little bit. We finally moved from empty stick to running more stick and nod, so that he could run the stick route and get
And
like a
he
few
had,
big catches.
so when it was man and the 2 receivers on the left would run slants and carry everybody with them, that entire left side of the field would be completely open except for one measly safety. So we'd roll out real quick, run around a defensive end who would dive and just not get close to us. And then we take off for 80 yards. Well, this particular game, he had like 200 yards passing, 100 yards rushing, and 100 yards receiving. I think that was probably my all-time favorite NCAA 14 game.
That was a fantastic accomplishment. It was funny because I mean, we somehow managed to be unstoppable with that formation. Like we could tell the defense was running, if they ran man, we just went around the corner and took off for 50 yards of Henderson.
Oh
That guy
man.
he was one of the fastest quarterbacks we ever had.
Yeah. And he had a cannon for an arm. But
Yeah,
we also we wouldn't throw it far all the
Mhm.
time. Like B would be wide open and then they'd take it to the house. But like we wouldn't throw it to be all the way downfield. We would throw it to be like if it's cover 2 and they would have a flat, we would throw it just below the cover 2 and then he'd burn the safety. We would throw mainly to the slants and they would do the rest of the work.
Right. It was something else. And by the way, like it wasn't like it was just our offense. Our defense was good too. We had a quarterback corner named Pierre Fletcher who got like 14 picks in the season once.
Yeah, that it and didn't you set the sack record? So we play first half, second half. So I play first half, he plays second half.
We
And
probably should have watched that first.
yeah, unfortunately we didn't think, being the individuals that we are, about possibly recording our entire franchise. Well, the new Xboxes make it a little bit easier to do that. So there is a chance that we might be able to get some of our footage into the show. If we can and figure that out, like the technologically inept people that we are, we could probably do something with that. But yeah, I would play first half. He would play second half. I would play typically the in 3-4 defense. I'd play nose tackle, left end or left outside, and then he would typically play left outside or right outside or right end, and then we would just set every sack record imaginable.
It was wild. Going
What about you?
down the list. Another memory here. It's very funny when we were at Fresno State. We ran a really good pro style offense. Like we had
Dangerously good.
two running backs who were extremely good in literally thunder and lightning combo here. We had Simmons, he was the power back.
We can't remember his first name to save our lives.
By the way, the second running back, we can't remember his first name either. But yeah, we could truck stick.
Was it Scott Barnes?
I don't know. I forgot his first name. Barnes is the speed back. So, you wear the defense down with Simmons, throw Barnes in there. He breaks the long run. They're just having a rough day. We have very mediocre at best quarterback, but he could do what he needed to do out of the play action. And we had a tight end that to this day, we severely regret how badly we underutilized this guy. This guy was incredible. Anytime we needed to throw them, he was wide open. He would score a touchdown.
And even if he wasn't open, he would catch it, truck stick two guys, and take it to the house.
Yeah,
I think didn't we spend like 2 years not realizing his potential?
Pretty much, yeah. It wasn't until like late in the senior year that we were like, wait, every time we run this play action pass, we just needed to throw it to him, and that's it. He was like Gronk, except like even more athletic and just faster, stronger. Like, I mean, literally any attribute you would wish for a tight end to have, this guy freaking had. And we realized it way too late.
He was better. He was like 6'9", like 330 pounds of pure muscle, and would just body people. And like we never changed anyone's stats. The only thing that I changed about any players was their swag. That's the only thing that we changed. So this guy came into us from computer generation at 6'9", 330, and would stiff arm people. He would just tower over and burn linebackers. He would just make the secondary like his breakfast. It was fantastic. Like, we probably could have been a more potent offense, but I don't know if we would have had as many rushing yards if we realized his potential too early.
Yeah, because I mean, we would have like 3,000 yards rushing a season. It was crazy.
Yeah, Fresno State was a good one. The one that pissed me off though was UNLV, because we tried to run like a pistol one, kind of like that, and it was working, but then randomly the game glitched yet again and decided that, oh, you guys are too good. You don't need an offensive coordinator, and we will never allow you to have an offense coordinator for as long as you're at this school.
That reminds me, good news for the new game. In College Football 25, you will be able to hire and fire your own offensive staff. So
yes,
hopefully we will not run into this issue again.
How funny would that be if like day or like the second season we fire a guy, and then all of a sudden like it won't let us hire anybody?
It's like,
that would be
hire this one.
Well, like with the old game, EA couldn't just plug any patches in. With the new game, they can just patch it up. So like a lot of those glitches probably would have been fixed pretty early.
Right. But yeah, like you said, we did not have an offensive coordinator. Our offense still ate though. We had a receiver named again, we're forgetting first names here. Last name Britton. And
we always called him Britain.
Britain for fun. There was one game where we ran empty stick and we threw it basically every play. He ended up with like 30 catches for like 300 yards. Yeah, and of course set every receiving record possible.
Yeah, and we actually tried to break that record, and I don't think we did it until like really late in that dynasty.
We may have set the yardage record, not the catching, not the
We will
receptions.
no. I don't think we'll ever have 30 receptions to one guy unless we make another Franklin. Which segues me into another memory. We started off at New Mexico State,
Yes,
and
that is our rule, by the way. We always start at New Mexico State.
because of like we wanted to choose a really bad team, and we came across New Mexico State, and we were like, you know what? Fine. We ran the triple option, and we had one good receiver, an okay quarterback who had legs, two okay running backs, and actually a pretty bad offensive line. But this Franklin guy was always open because of like how many setup plays we had for him. And we'd run the triple option, run the triple option pass, and he'd just be open. And every time he's just streaking down the field wide open, I'd throw him the ball, he'd be running, and I'd be like, da 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 da, Franklin. Those are good times. That was in college when we first started playing Dynasty together, because we could never agree on playing against each other because we knew that it would ruin our friendship. So, and we had to live together. So we were like, you know what? Maybe let's not ruin this while we're roommates. So yeah, he called me over one day, we set it all up, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, we kept playing since. I mean, this is over a decade of work that went into this game.
Yeah.
And by the way, because these are these are the roster he was at the beginning of the dynasty with the actual roster from the game, which of course then you download the names or whatever from customizable rosters. Austin Franklin is a real person, by the way. So shout out to
Really?
him. Yeah. I mean,
Shout
remember,
out.
these are real rosters. So
I didn't know
yeah.
if we got the real rosters or if we just like random named it.
Yeah, he and actually, I went and pulled him up here because it actually clicked to me just as we were talking about it.
Is
He
he
was
an
a beast.
insurance salesman?
Hard to tell. All I know is he was actually a beast. Like in his sophomore year in 2012, he had 74 catches for 1,200 yards.
Jeez.
He missed 4 games the next year, but still managed 52 catches. Had an awesome career. He did leave early for the draft. And he ended up with the Rams for a little bit. Then looks like he went to the Arena Football League with the Los Angeles Kiss. Was with the Texas Stealth, who do not have a Wikipedia article, so I really don't know who they are. And if anyone could tell us who the Texas Stealth are, please let us know. We actually have some followers who may know, but and then finally the Wichita Falls Nighthawks. But yeah, one last memory here, and then let's go into what we're excited about with the new game. We were with the Ohio Bobcats, and once again, we want to install a pro-style offense. The problem was our offensive line absolutely sucked. I mean, we were running the Iowa offense out there, 2 yards in the cloud of dust, trying to scrape out games 13-10. And then finally
Midway through.
one game, it started to fall apart and we were falling behind. And then we said, screw it, just decided to go guns a-blazing 5 wide instead. And immediately, midway through a season, went from 13-10 games to winning games like 70-53 or something like that.
On Heisman.
Yeah. But for some, we figured out the offense immediately, and then somehow at the same time, our defense also fell apart at the same time.
Man, NCAA 14, that was a good time.
All right. Time to talk about the new game, College Football 25. And of course, the first thing we got to talk about Dynasty Mode is what teams are we going to be starting with? Matt, what is the first team on your list? We're going to go over 5 teams by the way.
So this is not because they were good this past 2 years. This is just because like that electric fan base. I hope they have it that way in the game. It's James Madison. They have those sweet, crisp jerseys, and it just seems like a fun place to just build a program or maybe continue building a program. They're based out of Virginia, right?
Yep, based out of Virginia.
And right now there is no competition in Virginia, and all of a sudden,
And poor Virginia Tech.
I know. I mean, they kind of suck. Virginia started getting better, and they kind of suck again. I mean, the Commonwealth needs a team to root for, and it's going to be James Madison in college football 25.
That's a good one. I'm excited for that one. For me, the first one I'm going with is also the newest team in FBS football, the Kennesaw State Owls. I am excited to take who? I am excited to take this team from the beginning here and just establish a power within the state of Georgia. Non-conference scheduling is going to be a lot of fun with this team because I'm going to want to play in-state teams in Georgia, but then also at the same time try to compete for Owl superiority by playing the other Owls, who are all in the American for some reason. But yeah, it's going to be fun to build this team. Basically, they're just entering all the way to the top. And they're in Georgia, which is actually pretty good recruiting territory too.
Yeah. And the next one, speaking of Georgia, right across the border in a state that you wouldn't think would have Jacksonville in it. Alabama, Jacksonville State. I don't know. I've watched them play this year. I love those uniforms. Seems like a great environment. Plus, all the other teams in Alabama need to be taken down a notch. Maybe not UAB, just the big ones. Alabama, Auburn, you need to be taken down a notch. We're coming for you.
Yeah, I have Jacksonville State on my list as well. I really love their logo. Their logo is really cool. All that you just mentioned, try to establish myself with the Jacksonville State Gamecocks as the top team in the state. They're also pretty close to the border of Georgia, so probably going to try to battle with Georgia and Georgia State and stuff as well. And yeah, I mean, like building these teams up and building Conference USA to be a powerhouse conference in the game would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic. But another thing that would be fantastic is Sam Houston State. They made the jump, and it just seemed like they beat they like had one win, and it was like against a team that we were rooting for that year. Was it Coastal Carolina?
No, they actually got their first win of the year against Kennesaw State.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, I kind of feel bad for them, but like they're the Bearcats with a K. And they're all orange. It would be awesome to play with them. Take one of those teams from literally the bottom of college football to the very top.
Yeah, they have a really awesome color scheme. I really like what they have there. That's a very cool pick. But for me, actually, I'm going to shout out our friends at the 3 Tech Pod. They had a list of 10 different teams that are great options to build to a power in Dynasty mode. And I'm taking this one from their list, the North Texas Mean Green. I was already thinking about them before their show and article. Their article is actually up on our site, by the way. Because awesome color scheme. I really love the shade of green they have. Excellent recruiting territory. They're already in the American, which is going to be a little bit tougher competition. And obviously tough in-state competition too, but building them up to be the powerhouse of that state is going to be so worth it.
Yeah. Um, I got a better one for you. And it is also green.
Ooh.
And we are from the real Queen City. And this team is from the other Queen City, the Charlotte 49ers.
Yeah.
Um, wearing those all green uniforms, green helmet, green jersey, green pants. Kind of look like Michigan State, but like a lot cooler because they're not Michigan State. Um, it would just be fun to play as another North Carolina team and then just like join the ACC randomly with them and then just run through everyone, assuming the ACC is still around by the time the game comes out.
That's a really good one, and you got to cut off your sleeves like Biff Poggi as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I'm going to go to the Northeast. New England needs a top college football team, a true flagship. I want to make the UMass Minutemen that program. They're going to be joining the MAC in 2025, but in the game, they're going to be independent. You know what that means? Get flexibility with the schedule, and I'm ready to take the Minutemen to the top.
So when I first sent you my text, Justin, I had Texas State. I have now moved them to my honorable mention
You're my
because
honorable.
I've already done a Texas State Dynasty and NCAA 14. It was a lot of fun. Uniforms are pretty cool, pretty good stadium. But there's one thing I forgot about, and it's Coastal Carolina's teal turf.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's the only reason, not really the only reason, but a big reason why I want to play down there. And then it's like coming up with your own backstory of like turning Myrtle Beach into something like more than just a tourist trap. Like
Yeah,
turning
that'd
it
be a
into
lot of
a
fun.
real football town, like that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. And obviously, the teal turf. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Right.
My last one here, number 5 on the list, is the UTEP Miners. I don't care that I did a dynasty with them recently in NCAA 14. I'm excited to play with this new game in the Sun Bowls, one of the most awesome environments, awesome backdrops in college football. Kind of in the lost part of Texas over there in El Paso, but at the same time, the game doesn't recognize that distance probably, so I'm sure I'll still be considering Texas a pipeline state. And yeah, that sets them up pretty good to build them up into a powerhouse.
Yeah, that they will be fun, a lot of fun. UNLV would be fun to do again. There's a lot of honorable mentions. I mean, we can go, there's
Yeah.
130 something teams. We can
Well,
go
remember,
down
we
the
still
entire
have
list.
we have our list that we're going to do a dynasty together with, which of
Yeah.
course, if you know us by now, you'll know number 1 in the list is pretty obvious. As we always say, start with New Mexico State.
I would, dude. I mean, there's no other way. Like, we finally get
Yeah.
to start at New Mexico State with the new uniforms.
Yeah, no, they have some awesome uniforms these
Mm.
days.
And can't you add on to the stadium or renovate the stadium in the new game too?
You can't, because they said they put a lot of work in that. They put a lot of work into the stadiums the way they are, so that's probably why they can't set it up to renovate them. It would be cool for a future game.
That would be awesome for a future game.
But yeah, number 2 on the list here. This was actually an idea we had for NCAA 14, and we just have not gotten to it. So we're going to try this absolutely stupid idea in the new game.
And I don't know why it took us so long to figure this out.
Yes, we're going to go to Air Force. We're not going to do the triple option. We're going to live up to their name and run the Air Force playbook, which is going to be a playbook of nothing but pass plays. We're
Air
not even going
Raid
to give
Force.
ourselves the option to run. We are going to pass it every single play. And based on how they've said the new game is so far, we might struggle with this, but we're going to do it anyways.
Well, at least they won't have linebackers jumping up 45 feet in the air to pick off a pass.
I'm so glad that's not going to be in the game. That is going to save us.
Yeah. Um, one thing that I did want to bring up, and I don't think I brought this up to you, Justin. Um, why don't we do like a rotation of the owls?
Ooh, yes. Got
That
to
would
do
be a lot
all
of
the
fun.
owls.
All in one conference, just them, just the owls. I
Oh
don't
my,
care if
yes,
it's an
yes.
odd number.
I don't know which one's going to be. There's four of them, by the way, so it is an even number. The
Okay.
conference of the owls, just owls, nothing else in the conference, and we managed to
And
go to all of them.
we rename it Owls Conference.
I don't think we can rename it, but in our minds, we'll know what it
The
is.
Who's, the Whoosies.
Oh my, yeah. So
That'd be a
we'll
lot
have
of
to
fun.
rotate. We'll have to go to Rice, Temple, Florida Atlantic, and Kennesaw State. Build them all up so that they're just in an absolutely tough conference all together.
Yeah. I hope that we get to like do a team builder for that team in Alaska that you keep posting about that has just that field next to water and there's like no stands.
Yeah, I think that's a high school.
I don't
Well,
care. I want
I
like
want
the
that field in
University
the
of
game.
Juneau, Alaska.
Yeah, so let's go with conference alignment first here, and then we'll get to team builder. So, how are you going to align your conferences, Matt?
Um I still might do them regionally, so I might undo what NCAA has done. Um with more teams, it's probably going to be a little easier for some conferences to just pack a bunch of teams in it. Like we did the MAC and it was um all Ohio and Michigan teams, and I think we had to leave one team out. So
Yeah,
now that we can do 20, it's going to be a lot of fun to do that.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
you had the idea. I don't know if I'm stealing this from you, but in NCAA 14, you had the idea of taking the um like have it like a tiered thing, like how basically it's going. So have SEC be number one, Big Ten be number two, Big 12's number three, ACC four, all the way down. And the best team in the lower conferences get to move up, and the worst team in those conferences moves down. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a fun one. We started doing that a lot in NCAA 14 later on. That's probably not going to be the first one I go to. Probably the first idea to do is kind of like do some sort of like an older conference alignment a little bit, build the Pac 12 back up, kind of get the Big 12 back to what it used to be. So, like, even though, Colorado left the Big 12, then came back, they're probably going to stay in the Big 12. Get Nebraska back in there. Make Conference USA like Louisville, UC, TCU, all those teams. And yeah, kind of just
Bring
build
back
like
a mix of like, actually, I'm going to cut you off. I just thought of something. I'm going to bring back a lot of the old Big East.
The old Big East is a good one too. Because yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Kind of like a mix of like the old Big East and some of the newer teams, like
Yeah.
like kind of mesh a few years together, like go all the way back to like when Miami, Boston College, Virginia Tech were in there, but then
Yeah.
also still include like Cincinnati and South Florida.
And Pitt and Louisville and Syracuse and West Virginia. What a good
Yeah,
time.
I know. And then yeah, that way like the backyard brawl is played every year. The battle for the
Keg and
Black
nail.
Diamond Trophy is played every year. Keg and Nails. The River City rivalry that's actually being played this year, but apparently not for the trophy for some reason. Bring the
Why?
trophy back.
Bring us trophies.
Bring the trophy back. You were literally calling it the same rivalry name. Why are we not using the trophy?
It's a mistake.
It is.
That's a show for another time.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole show about that. But yeah, Yeah, so that's very exciting. Now to our team builder teams. What teams are you going to? We're probably both too lazy to make our own, so we'll probably just mooch off of someone else's work. But what teams are you looking to download into the game?
So I'm probably going to do the same thing that I did in and say 14 Team Builder, and I would love to do Xavier University in Ohio. Um, I think it would be awesome to bring back their football program and just have or like bring back like I don't know, like make a conference of Jesuit schools. Take out
Basically,
like
like
the Alabamas, Michigans, Notre Dames, Ohio States, all the big blue chip top tier programs, and just throw in a bunch of Jesuits and see what happens.
so basically like the Big East basketball programs into football, basically.
Yeah,
So like like Creighton's in there. There's actually like a push to bring Creighton football back. That would be awesome to kind of just get them in the game and
move
um
Villanova from Division 2 to to FBS.
yeah, yeah, that'd be a good one to do. Mine, I'm definitely gonna bring in the Big Sky, probably replace the whole Big Ten with the Big Sky at some point. And then
That too.
replace the SEC with probably just a bunch of other miscellaneous FCS teams. I'm going to make sure to get Delaware and Missouri State in there because they're actually moving up to FBS the following year. But yeah, I'm excited to get the Big Sky in there. There's so many cool teams, so many cool environments to get in there. I'm not sure how close you can get them to the real life thing because it's team builder. I'm sure there's some restrictions, but hopefully we get some version of the Kibby Dome. And then hopefully we can make that red field for Eastern Washington. Can you imagine that?
That would be so cool.
Yeah. It'd be awesome, like if it's like you can do like the field colors, like the red turf for Eastern Washington, get Central Arkansas on their freaking wacky like purple and silver turf. Have you ever seen the Central Arkansas one? Like
I have
theirs is
not.
absolutely crazy. It's like it's like purple and gray, just kind of striped all the way down. It is the wildest turf I've ever seen, but I'm excited to potentially use it.
That would be dope. Um, Other than Xavier, probably some school from Alaska or like see if I can get Blue Mountain State in the game since they got back on Netflix. Um, yeah, I don't.
That's
Maybe
a
I would try like smaller schools. I would
mm,
probably have to create my own. My wife went to California, but in Pittsburgh. Um,
California, Pennsylvania.
yeah. Uh, so like I would probably try to maybe add them at some point. I hope it's like 2K, NBA 2K where you can like just upload all that crap. Um Not like the old team builder where it took forever to load and blah blah blah. Like I hope the actual team builder ends up being somewhat like 2K
hmm
cuz somebody's
It
got to have
sounds
it
like
somewhere. Like there's
yeah,
going to be at least one person from each school that isn't represented in the game that's going to create their school.
absolutely. I mean, it's going to happen. Um, one idea I've had is I want to get a team in every single state. So, like the Maine Black Bears, New Hampshire Wildcats, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana, get all those teams in there. Vermont, the Vermont Catamounts do not have a football team, but get them in there anyways. And then like Alaska, Anchorage would be a lot of fun. Like, just like, a team from each state represented. That would be a lot of fun to do.
Or maybe like uh, a university in Mexico or Canada. That would
I
be
wonder if
pretty
they'll
dope.
let you do that. That'd be pretty sweet if you could.
It probably won't let you do it.
Yeah, because they don't. One of the weird things is they're not going to have like the Dublin game in there. which I was actually kind of disappointed about because I was just like, you know what, I'm going to send the dumbest matchups there because that's kind of what we're doing in real life, anyways. But like just send
Have
like
Navy
LS.
Army play in that. Like that would be so funny.
So like really the actual thing the doubling games should be used for, like it should just rotate like Notre Dame and the service academies. Like it would make so much sense just for that to be the game. Like
Yeah.
Notre Dame 1 year, then Army the next year, then Air Force the year after. Like do that. That would make so much more sense. But instead, we're doing some silly games now. Like we've got what is it? 2025 is Iowa State and Kansas State. There's Wisconsin and Pitt. Like, I mean, Florida State and Georgia Tech this year. These teams have nothing to do with Ireland.
I know.
So I've done some joking polls on there. Like I think we've managed to propose like Florida versus Cal in Ireland and LSU versus NC State because LSU is exploring a game there. Um, so I was looking forward to the idea of potentially just sending dumb games to Ireland, but I'm not going to be able to do that, at least for this game.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe I would do Detroit Mercy.
ooh, that's a good one too.
That would be a good one.
They had a rough year of basketball this year. Like they were like the last team to win a game.
Or like try to find like the smallest campus I can possibly find in like rural Michigan or rural Wisconsin, like a Great Lakes University or something like that, or like Upper Peninsula College. I don't
Yeah,
know if any
or
exist, but like
there's a lot of D3 colleges out there you could probably think of.
Tiffin.
Yeah, that reminds me that Tiffin C2, so is Finley. The Finley Oilers are another one I'm thinking about. I need to get in the game.
Have them be the Finley colors, but with the Houston Oilers style.
And by the way, make sure you start pushing in California, Pennsylvania, because I've already started the push where Finley is our D2 team, and now it got to the point now where each year I'm probably going to post like a recap of the week, and part of that recap log, I am going to recap what the Finley Oilers do every single week. So that'll be interesting at the end.
They're D2,
Yep.
California.
Ooh, do they play each other?
I can look it up real quick
What
if
if
you
we're
want to.
rivals?
Ooh, California Vulcans.
Oh, the Vulcans. That's the
That
thing.
would
Like
be dope.
we need to find gear of these programs.
Yeah. Let me look up their schedule real quick. Football.
I think D2 is like so regional that they probably aren't in the same conference, but it would be very entertaining if they were. But yeah, once you're done looking that up, we will jump into what schedules we're gonna try to do.
This is from 2022. Um
Oh yeah, I've been hearing that Google has been pretty bad lately, and that sounds like
yeah.
it.
This is actually from the Vulcans website, but I typed in Finley and it did not come up with anything. So maybe they don't
Yeah.
play.
Oh,
That's
I
still
found it.
that.
I
Have
found
they
it.
played?
They do not play this year.
Have
Um,
they played recently?
I'll have to go. That one's gonna be after the show. Actually, they come near here. Finley plays Thomas More this year on the road. We know Thomas
Hmm.
More is pretty close to us.
This is
Um,
this is what their field looks like, and it's a Cal that looks like Cal in California. But they got some dope
as a
uniforms though.
follow up to the show, I'm gonna have to
Look at
post the
that.
picture of
Those are
that.
some dope uniforms.
Dude, those are sweet.
Yeah.
Dude, I bet they have some pretty awesome. Like they have a pretty cool color red there. Like I would definitely love to have a shirt of that.
And they're called the Vulcans. Like that would be dope. Like find a
Dude, their
secondary logo.
They're sweet. Okay, I mean that's decided. California, Pennsylvania is definitely your D2 team now.
Yep.
Next episode, I find ourselves a D3 team. All
Yeah, we already
right,
found the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley uh, Valeros,
Vaqueros.
Vaqueros, as
Yeah,
our FCS, one of our FCS teams.
yeah. If anyone
We
that
have a lot
follows
of
the
FCS
Twitter
teams.
knows that apparently I have a lot of FCS teams, and I might be seeing one this year in their season opener. Um, there's two potential candidates, so we'll see there. Um, but yeah, yeah, we have a lot of FCS teams, but there are a brand new FCS team in 2025 that we're ready to root for right from the beginning.
Yep. Um,
Gotta
I
download
think,
them in the game.
oh, 100%. Um,
So, what are you gonna do schedule wise?
mm, it depends on what I do with the conference alignment. So if I take Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, all of them out, um, I'll probably play the teams I don't like of the remaining teams. Rivalries, like keep it kind of close by, whether they're rivals or not.
Right.
Um, if I leave in the big teams, then I'm probably gonna just try to knock all of them down as long as I possibly can.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I want to see like how much manipulation I can do with the schedule. I don't know if you can. I feel like it's not likely that I would be able to change like computer non-conference schedules. But apparently, the one thing that I don't think people have paid enough attention to is the fact that you can have 32 user teams.
That would
So,
be
like,
dope. That's
so
like an entire. You could do almost 2 conferences.
for real, like that's a lot of teams that you could just put under your umbrella. Like you have your one serious team that you're actually trying to build up, and then you can just put all these other teams under your umbrella and set up all sorts of these cool non-conference schedules. Like, I mentioned the backyard brawl already, but I'll mention it again. You can make sure, even if you leave Pitt in the ACC and West Virginia in the Big 12, you can make sure the backyard brawl is played every year. Nebraska and Oklahoma, Nebraska and Colorado play every year. Like all sorts of these cool rivalries that the SEC and Big Ten have been trying to take away from us. We can bring them back.
Yeah, I do think one thing that I would do, I think I might go to Temple at some point and then just start beating all the teams around Temple, around
Mm-hmm.
Philly.
Yeah, yeah. And in 2025, I'll even include Delaware, by the way. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, and that's of course part of our Owls superiority conference. Um, but yeah, it'd be fun to also beat like Penn State, beat Pittsburgh. Take down Maryland. I think, yeah. Well, Navy.
Maryland. Mary had a fairy named Larryland.
Oh my, that did not need to be on this.
It absolutely had to. We went to Maryland in NCAA 14, and Justin was taking forever on his half. And for whatever reason, my ADHD mind was like, sing this song. And pretty sure it's been almost 10 years now that I've been singing
Yeah,
that.
I think so. It's been too long.
My wife still married me after she heard it, so we're all good.
Yeah. We were sold when we started this dynasty that we're in, and now it's gonna be time to begin a new one soon.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we won't be able to completely finish our second whole dynasty. We finished the first one. That was pretty impressive that we were able to finish that in 5 years. Um, life has made us adults and made it harder to
Yeah.
play. One thing I am hoping that I don't think has been announced yet is a save option, a save in the middle of a game. Wherever you're at, you can start the game, run one play, and then save and quit. I hope that that save and quit option is in there, because if so, I am playing first half, I am saving and quitting, and I'm texting Justin immediately to let him know, hey, I am done. It is your turn. We will run through an entire 60-year franchise in probably, I don't know, a month.
Yeah,
Not really,
I mean,
but
it'd be
like,
fun. It now, of course, if that is not an option, then I guess the other option we would have is we would have to eventually change this up. We've got the podcast now. Um, I don't think this friendship's go anywhere. We would have to do an online dynasty, and we are building up our own programs, and we may have to play each other at some point.
that would be fun too. One thing to keep it the same though is I know outside of the game that we can save and quit. So if one of us, whatever profile we decide to do this on, we can save after a game and just alternate games if you want to do it that way. So
Yeah,
like we
that'd be a
got
lot.
plenty of time to figure out the dynamics and stuff. We're probably going to want to start dynasties before we get into our joint dynasties so we can kind of figure things out. Um, but
Get
yeah,
all the interceptions out of the way and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard about like the new way that throwing is going to be, and when I read it, I'm just like, oh, I am going to throw so many interceptions.
I don't know if I want to do a dynasty with you anymore.
Well, we'll have to get the kinks out a little bit, and we'll be fine.
Yeah. Is there anything else on the docket?
Not at the moment, but yeah, very excited for this. And yeah, excited finally play this game.
You were frozen silent that entire time. I, I
I
have
I
good
do
internet. I don't know
think
about you.
I do think one of us in the internet snag. It may have been me. So yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I don't know anything you just said, but
Oh no.
if you want to get on social media and find us at Updog Sports Talk, find us everywhere. We are out there. Find us, follow us, go to YouTube, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so when we post, we posted. Um, Trying to get to 100 subscribers. We are at 81 or 82 at this point, so moving on up. But
Hey.
yeah, we're at like 400 followers on Twitter. So if you have a Twitter and you follow us on Twitter, be sure that you also subscribe to our channel because that would be much appreciated. Um, and
Oh, let's not
then
forget we have a website too.
we do have a
Don't
website.
forget about the website.
It is Justin's blog is working. Mine is not. Chad's is not. Um, some of the links are on there twice. We do have a merch link that we don't have set up yet. So if you go on there and hit the merch link, it's not going to go anywhere. You're probably just going to be angry clicking at that point. But the website will take you to each of our social medias. It will take us to Justin's blog and I do have a page open with my bio in it, but there's just my bio. There's not like any posts. So Justin has all the information out there on the website. Um, Currently under construction for a lot of it. We have a bunch of ideas, but right now, simplistic. Feel free to play around with the 3 buttons at work and let us know what you think.
And obviously, I'm currently almost done with grading all the coaching hires for this off season. There's definitely a lot of them to be excited about. I think by next week is going to be the last one, and then we'll be moving on to the state of the program series, where kind of just previewing where each program's at, as many programs as I can get done before the season starts.
Yeah, and I haven't decided on my nostalgia series on when I'm going to start that, who I'm going to talk about, and if I'm going to do a video version or just a blog. Could probably do both, but haven't worked out any of the kinks on that. Haven't really sat down. Haven't really had the time. But yeah, gonna have a few things going forward that'll be fun. Whether it's just me talking about a team or whether the guys want to join me. Possibly going to start branching out under Updog's umbrella and start doing some of our own monologues and stuff. So keep an eye out for all that. And yeah, don't really have a whole lot of other news besides that. So give us a follow, check out the website, keep your ears, your eyes, your fingers open for what we do.
And we'll get you through the off season.
Yeah. I do baseball stuff too, but a lot of people seem upset about a lot of things on MLB's pages. So I don't know if I really want to talk about MLB anymore. But NASCAR is a good thing. They're about to switch over to an NBC, so that's going to be a thing.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how the season goes as we go along there. They waffled forever on that Kyle Larson waiver.
I know that was kind of stupid. Just give him the waiver.
Yeah,
It's not his fault. It rained two
right.
places. Dumb. But that is the show. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.